party believe that every poor man must build his castle, every poor man must build him big house, and we not grudge of it. We are going to help you to achieve that. That is why we say education be free, health be free, and we must make the place secure so you can live and enjoy yourself.
This is the house, built on 3/4 of an acre, complete with stone-cut wall, in the exclusive Beverly Hills neighborhood just outside Kingston. It's a huge upgrade from where Jamaica's newest Prime Minister and then opposition leader Andrew Holness says he was born.
I was born in a 2-bedroom board house at 56 Cumberland Road in a Spanish town. My father is still a farmer, and my mother is a retired civil servant.
Property records show that Beverly Hills land was purchased by a St. Lucian-based company, ADMAT Incorporated, for $300,000 in 2011, 3 months before Holness became Prime Minister of Jamaica for the first time, and when he was Minister of Education. There's no mortgage listed. In a statement, Holness says he's the sole director of ADMAT and a shareholder, along with his 2 sons, Adam and Matthew. Holness says he got the money from funds in his accounts at 2 of Jamaica's investment banks and used his savings, salary, loans, and credit from suppliers established through his wife, who is a real estate developer, to build the house, costing him approximately $52 million, or around $525,000 US. He says the St. Lucian structure was used for estate planning. His attorney, Patrick Bailey, says there's that, and the additional potential benefit of avoiding transfer taxes.
If the house at Beverly Hills is the only asset and he was selling it, he would simply sell the company, sell the shares. The company would have its shareholding transferred from him and his children to the new purchasers, whereas the title would remain unchanged because the new purchaser will be the owners of ADMAT and be the owners of the property. So in that case, there's no transfer from one entity to another. So you save on transfer tax and stamp duties and those sorts of things.
Civil society activist Carol Narcisse says the leader of the country shouldn't be trying to avoid taxes.
Especially if you're a prime minister and you're telling your citizens that they need to conform to the regulatory environment that you have designed, that you do not think you can adhere to, because it is inimical to your interest to adhere to it, or inimical to the interest of your children's future to adhere to it, then there is a major, there's a major inconsistency there that you need to explain.
Does he own other entities in there, in ADMAT?
In ADMAT?
Yes.
I think he has at least one other property in ADMAT.
And where is that?
That is in somewhere in the Arcadia area. Right.
And that's considered land or also?
No, it's an apartment. Actually, he's now in the process of selling that unit. He owes suppliers, because suppliers gave him credit for the house he's building in Beverly Hills.
And the source of funds for that was what?
That one, I can't recall all of those details, but I seem to remember that he's always used the house that he lives in and get loans and that sort of thing.
We checked the title for the property where Bailey says both Holness and his wife lived at the time of our interview, and found no additional loans or mortgages other than those originally taken out in 2002 when they bought the house for $7 million Jamaican dollars, around $144,000 US back then. So you were satisfied then with the source of the funds in both cases?
Oh, absolutely.
We checked the title for the Arcadia property and found that it was indeed purchased by the same St. Lucian company, ADMAT Incorporated, in 2008, again when Holness was Minister of Education. The price tag, $16 million Jamaican dollars, around $219,000 US back then, and again, no mortgage was listed. Further, we also checked whether ADMAT owned additional properties and found one more. A half-acre lot, also built in Beverly Hills on Wycliffe Close in February 2009, also when Holness was Minister of Education, price tag around $15 million Jamaican dollars, almost $173,000 US, and again, no mortgage listed. So you've never heard of this Wycliffe Close property before today?
Let me put it this way. I have never handled, and when I look at the transfer, I see the names of lawyers who I know. And he's entitled to have more than one lawyer. We'll have to eat.
So all told, when it comes to properties, there's the Great House Boulevard home that Honus and his wife bought with a mortgage while Honus was a mere member of Parliament, and in the 4 years he was Minister of Education, earning the equivalent of around $60,000 per year, or $90,000 with allowances. There was the Arcadia apartment, no mortgage listed. The land at Wycliffe Close in Beverly Hills, no mortgage listed. The land for the Shenstone Beverly Hills house he's building, no mortgage listed, and around $525,000 spent building the house in the 3 years after Honus's Jamaica Labour Party lost the election in 2011. Honus, through a member of his team, said he wouldn't comment on the source of funds for any of his properties before the election, but even after, he didn't. He also said he would make his financial statement public at the end of March 2016, but he didn't. Of our initial checks in the 2 weeks before the election, the house in Beverly Hills had an outstanding balance since 2013 on the tax administration's website. Amount about $174,000 or US $1,400 approximately. Property taxes on the Wycliffe Close land in Beverly Hills were listed as not having been paid since 2009, a total of about $175,000 or US around $1,400. And the Great House Boulevard home that he owned with his wife Juliette, that was listed as outstanding since 2014, owing Jamaicans $64,000 or about $526 US. All in, Honus or his entities were listed at the time as owing almost 413,000 Jamaican dollars, around $3,400 US. It wasn't clear if there were any amounts owing for the apartment at Arcadia Drive. Before the election, the tax administration's website reflected zero balances for the 2 Beverly Hills properties at Shenstone Drive and Wycliffe Close. However, taxes on the house he owns with his wife were still listed as owing as of our last check, March 18th, 2016, even as he became Prime Minister of Jamaica for a second time.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica.
Where is the economy going? Have you done any analysis of your tax plan and what economic growth is going to look like in your first year?
I wouldn't want to give you a specific figure.
But your analysis must have produced something that is tangible for the people to understand.
Yeah, but I didn't say I would give you that figure.
But it has produced a figure.
Of course.
Okay.
Otherwise, why would we do that?
Give me a general sense of where we have on the low end, the top end.
I would say to you that if you're going to talk about economic growth, you should be above 3%.
Okay, that's a fair statement to make. Let's talk about some of the other taxes that you, tax incentives and lower rates, and
So
I think there was mention of some transfer taxes as well.
In general, our tax plan is to reduce transaction taxes. A part of economic growth is to get the velocity of transactions increasing, and particularly in construction and real estate, because those are major employment areas. So we will bring to the levels which we had them before our transfer tax and stamp duties, and estate taxes as well.
You seem to don't like taxes too much because
absolutely. I'm a small government, free enterprise person. I believe that markets work best and taxes are distortionary.
Okay. Is that why you didn't pay the property taxes on the home?
No, my property taxes are paid.
On the THS website, when we did the valuation numbers for your properties, the outstanding taxes are there.
No, my taxes are paid.
When we looked, there was your Great House Boulevard property. There was your property that's owned by Admant, which you say you're sole director of. And then there's another property that we actually found under Admant as well, up at Wycliffe Close. All 3 were outstanding, and then we saw that at Wycliffe Close taxes seem to have been outstanding since 2009. What about the other property though?